Hello everyone. In this video lecture I am going to discuss the concept of coordinate system, and the coordinate system is the backbone for representing accurate locations on the earth's surface and for doing different types of geographical analysis. Coordinate system play a very important role. So this concept today we will discuss in this video lecture. So let's start. Now first topic is coordinate system in maps. One of the most important functions of a GIS is to allow user to perform different types of analysis of geographical data using accurate locations on the earth's surface and by doing different types of measurements. So for doing different types of geospatial analysis we need accurate locations, because based of those accurate locations we can perform different types of measurements: area, perimeter, length, bearing, everything will perform such type of measurements. Okay, so that is the things you know. That to ensure that geographical information is placed accurately on a map, early map breakers, or you may call it cartographers, recognize the need for a system, for a framework that could locate features on the earth's surface. So in the earlier age, at the starting period when people learn how to prepare map, at that time map makers realize that we need a framework, we need a system. With the help of this system we can accurately represent every locations on the earth's surface. So from this need a system of imaginary intersecting lines was created. So on the globe, cartographers or map makers create a imaginary intersecting lines, and those imaginary intersecting lines create a framework, create a system for the coordinate system. Like other mathematical application, if you use any time graph paper, there you will also found a coordinate system. In a graph paper there is a origin point x0, y0, and based on this origin point we can identify any other locations on the graph paper. So whenever we'll identify any other locations, that is nothing, the distance x displacement from the origin point and the y displacement from this point of origin or origin point. So that is the things are there. So in a brief, in GIS, coordinate system is basically nothing but a imaginary intersecting lines, which is nothing. Entire globe was divided by certain horizontal lines, certain perpendicular lines. By this we divide the globe, and those horizontal and perpendicular lines create a graticule, and this is nothing but a intersection of longitude and latitude lines. Okay, so if you see in this slide, in GIS each location will have 2 or 3 coordinate associated to it. So in geographical system every location on the earth's surface have either 2 or 3 coordinate. So the third coordinate is basically optional, may or may not. The first coordinate is the x coordinate, which represents the horizontal distance from the point of origin. Point of origin means where x0, y0. So from this origin point the horizontal distance is represent x coordinate, and from this origin point the vertical distance is called the y coordinate. and as I told you, those two are mandatory, x and y coordinate. Third one is the optional one, which is called z coordinate system or z coordinate value, that represents the height of the point from the ground, which is basically use the every point's location's height from the sea level. And this z coordinate is generally used for 3D mapping purpose, three-dimensional geographical data visualization purpose. So I told you this is the optional coordinate, only required for 3D mapping purpose. So as you can see, I told you in the last slide, the system of imaginary intersecting lines. So those are the, you can see the parallel lines, horizontal lines, those are the vertical lines, and those horizontal and vertical lines cross each other, create a graticule or grid, and based on those longitude and latitude lines, we represent every location on the Earth's surface, their accurate location. So if you consider this point have a x coordinate which is called 15° east. So 15° east means from this, as you can see, the red color horizontal and vertical lines that meet somewhere in this origin point, both x and y 0. So this is the x displacement 15° east, and the y displacement is there 15° north. So the same way 30° east, 15° south, east, north, west, north, west, south, east, south. So entire globe was divided into 4 quadrants. So that is the way we can represent. So this is on a three-dimensional globe surface. If you but whenever you will prepare map, we prepare map on a flat plane surface. So this is the plane surface where again the origin point is there, vertical and horizontal line where cross, where x0, y0. This is the first quadrant. Both value are positive, x and y coordinate. X and y coordinate measured from this origin point. This is the second quadrant, x negative, y positive. This is the third quadrant, both x and y negative. This is the fourth quadrant where x positive, y negative value. So this is the three-dimensional globe surface. When that we will project on a flat paper on a two-dimensional map, we will get such type of coordinate system. So that is the basics of this. Okay, so where we will use, this is called prime meridians, that means which is called 0° longitude. This is called equator. This horizontal red color line is called equator, which is called 0° latitude. Now first we will consider the shape of the earth. So if you ask somebody what is the shape of the earth, you will get different types of response. Somebody may say that it is shaped like a ball, like a football, or maybe some other person may say that the shape of the earth is just like a shape of an egg. That means just like an ellipsoid shape. So all the answer in this case are valid, but GIS need something more precise. Sphere, I mean shaped like football or shaped like a egg. But in case of GIS, for accurate locational measurement purpose, we need some precise model of the earth. Our understanding of the earth's shape in the form of a mathematical model is the foundation for all the functionalities of a GIS. So all the functionalities of GIS is totally based on the mathematical model of the earth, mathematical shape of the earth. The earth shape is not a perfect sphere, but rather than an spheroidal shape. Although earth shape is not perfectly spheroidal, but we can assume, or we can better represent shape of the earth instead of sphere. We can represent better way using a spheroid. So this is a sphere like a football, this is a spheroid like a shape like a egg. A sphere is based on a circle. If a circle, if you rotate around its radius, then you will get a sphere shape. While a spheroid or ellipsoid, somebody called spheroid, somebody also called ellipsoid, both are same. Spheroid is based on an ellipse, sphere is based on an circle, spheroid is based on an ellipse. Now shape of an ellipse is defined by two radius. So ellipsoid has two radius, sphere has only single radius. The longer radius is called the semi-major axis and the shorter radius is called the semi-minor axis. So if you consider this is a sphere, this is a ellipse, so this is the semi-major axis, larger axis, and this is called, the smaller one is called the semi-minor axis. Now if you rotate this ellipse based on this semi-minor axis, you will get the spheroidal shape. Exactly, for in this way we represent. So although earth can be better represented using a spheroid, sometimes we also in GIS we also sometimes consider earth is a sphere, and we consider earth is a sphere for such type of map. Which type of map? For small scale map, something like 1:50 lakhs map, we consider earth as a sphere instead of spheroid, because at this scale smaller than 1:50 lakh, the difference between a sphere and the spheroid is not detectable, not possible to identify. However, for better accuracy and for the larger scale map, something like 1:10 lakh or larger, we should represent earth as a spheroid for accurately represent every location on the earth's surface. So small scale map like 1:50 lakh, we may consider earth as a sphere, but the larger scale map we should consider earth as a spheroid for better representation purpose. Okay, so modeling the shape of the earth in GIS. How to model the earth shape in GIS? So earth spheroid deviates slightly for different regions of the earth. So when we consider earth as a spheroid, this spheroidal shape slightly deviates in different portion of the earth or different regions of the earth. Okay, many different spheroids are used throughout the world to account for this deviation. So to remove this deviation for accurate measurement purpose for different regions of the earth or for different regions map making purpose, map makers use different types of spheroids just to ignore, or just to just to remove this deviation, different types of spheroid used by the cartographers for different region. Ignoring deviations and using the same spheroid for all locations on the earth could lead to the errors of several meters or hundred of meters in extreme cases. So if you consider only one spheroid for entire earth, so if you ignore this deviation, then it can create from several meter to several hundred meter of error in your map, so which is sometimes very dangerous. So for accurate map making purpose, different types of spheroid we use for different regions of the earth. Few example of spheroids I just present in front of you. For mapping for our country, we use this particular spheroid, Everest Definition 1975. For North America, they use two types of spheroid, Clarke 1866 and GRS, Geographic Reference System 1980 or 80, this particular one. So this is the much more new one, but Clarke 1866 little bit of older spheroid used for North America. So for entire world mapping purpose, WGS 1984, or which is called World Geodetic System 1984, such type of spheroid we use. So the same way, whenever cartographer making map for Australia, for China, for different regions, they use some different types of spheroids. Okay, so that is as per this presentation we just show you very few of them. Now different types of coordinate system we use in GIS, and according to this we use two types of coordinate system, or types of coordinate system. We use mainly two types of coordinate system. One is called GCS, Geographic Coordinate System. Another one is called Projected Coordinate System, or in short PCS. In GIS we mainly use those two types of coordinate system. So in the remaining slide we will discuss about those two types of coordinate system, Geographic Coordinate System and projected. So start with GCS, or Geographic Coordinate System. GCS use a three-dimensional spherical model or globe shape to identify location on the surface of the earth. Consists of a network of intersecting lines of latitude and longitude. Latitude are also called parallels, longitude are also called meridians. So these intersecting of latitude and longitude lines are called graticule, something like this. So this intersecting lines are called graticule. Each line of longitude, those vertical lines are longitude, runs north-south direction, and measure the number of degree either in east direction or in west direction from the prime meridian. So prime meridian, we measure longitude value in east direction or in west direction from the prime meridian. So prime meridian is the longitude line, its value is 0 degree. Now when you go towards east direction, 15 degree east, 15 degree longitude in east direction, 30 degree longitude in west direction, 60 degree longitude in west, 30 degree longitude in east direction. So in geographic coordinate system, longitude value is considered as a x coordinate and the latitude values are called y coordinate. Lines of latitude runs east west. So latitude lines are runs towards east west direction and measure the number of degrees north or south of the equator. So this horizontal line is called equator, where latitude value is 0 degree. So all the other latitude value we measure from this equator line towards this north longitude 15 degree north, towards this south latitude 15 degrees south, 15 degrees south. Each point is referenced by its longitude and latitude value. So those are the 4 points we present here. 4 points on the earth surface, their location we measured based on this longitude and latitude value. Longitude and latitude are nothing but angles. Its longitude latitude value are measured in degree. So this is nothing but the angular measurement, and these angular measurements are performed from the earth's center to a point on the earth's surface, something like this. We measured longitude and latitude value from the earth's center points towards the point on the earth's surface. So this red color point is the earth's point on the earth's surface. This point's longitude when we measured, latitude value when we measured from the center points. So from the center points, from this equator plane, this angle is called latitude. From the prime meridian 0 degree longitude, this angle is called the longitude value. 15 degree east this angle, and 40 degree north this angle is measured. So that is the way we represent in this way. But the thing is that longitude value measure ranges towards east from 0 degree to 180 degree east, towards west from 0 degree to 180 degree. So the total longitudinal value range is 180 degree west to 180 degree east. And in case of latitude value, latitudinal value ranges from the north 90 degree to the south pole towards south pole 90 degree. So 90 degree north to 90 degree south, this range is the latitudinal range we consider. Now in case of geographic coordinate system, we use mainly 4 components. Every geographic system consists of 4 components. One is called, first component is angular unit of measure. The graticule of longitude and latitude line is the angular measurement system, something I just told you in the earlier slide. So this is one component, angular measurement in degree, 50 degree north, 15 degree south, 30 degree east or 30 degree west. All features on the earth's surface are located using measurements that are relative to the center of the earth. So the first component of GCS is angular unit of measure. The second component is the nothing but the prime meridian. So this 0° longitude is the called prime meridian, and the prime meridian is running from the North Pole through Greenwich, England to the South Pole. So prime meridian runs from the North Pole to South Pole through Greenwich, England, and its value is always 0° longitude. And the third component is the spheroid, the shape of the earth. Spheroid is the mathematical model that estimates the size and shape of the earth. So this is the third component of the geographical coordinate system. For example, here we show you the GRS 80 North American spheroid, geographic reference system 80, semi-major axis, semi-minor axis, radius in meter. Then come another very important component, which is called datum. Datum basically defines the origin and the orientation of latitude longitude lines, or in other way you can consider datum defines the origin and orientation of spheroid. A datum provides a frame of reference for measuring locations on the surface of the earth. It's a frame of reference by which we measure every location on the earth's surface. Generally we use two types of datum. One is the earth centered datum, where the earth center point and the center, this is the earth surface, this grey color line, shape of the earth represented by grey color line, and this dash pattern blue color line represent the spheroid shape or elliptical shape, whatever. So in the earth centered datum, the earth center of mass, this grey circle, and the spheroid center both coincide, and it will try to match the spheroidal shape with the earth's shape most of the cases, not everywhere. And another one is their local datum for regional mapping for your study of interest. It will match the local datum as per your requirement. Here earth center point and the center of the spheroid was displaced, not coincide with each other, because this shifting happened for your study area, for which area you are going to prepare a map to make this particular area of interest accurate. This shifting is there. While a spheroid approximates the shape of the earth, a datum defines the position of the spheroid. Datum defines what should be the position where we will fit the spheroid with the earth. So position of the spheroid relative to the center of the earth. So datum is very important point. How you will fit the spheroid with the shape of the earth. So their position defined by the datum. Now different types of datum we used in GIS for different regional mapping purpose or different country mapping purpose. For example, North American datum, World Geodetic Survey datum, WGS 1984 datum, North American datum we use for different country, different region basis. The underlying datum and spheroid to which coordinates for a geographical dataset are referenced can change the coordinate value. So every coordinate system every geographic coordinate system is based on a particular spheroid and a particular datum. So if you change the datum and spheroid of a coordinate system, all the values, all the locations value will change. So we should be very careful. And then come projected coordinate system, where its ultimate goal was to transform the three-dimensional Earth surface into a two-dimensional flat map. This transformation process is called projection. Convert the three-dimensional Earth surface onto a two-dimensional paper or two-dimensional flat plane. Coordinate system that use this process to create a two-dimensional maps are called PCAs. But the point is that projected coordinate system is always based on a geographic coordinate system, or in other way I can say projected coordinate system cannot stand independently. Projected coordinate system always stands upon the geographic coordinate system. It's always dependent on GCS, but the geographic coordinate system can stay independently without any projected coordinate system. Okay, so this point you should always have to remember. In PCS, locations are identified by the XY coordinate on a grid, on a two-dimensional paper, with the origin at the center of the grid. So this is a two-dimensional grid. This is the origin point where x0, y0. Now every location in this grid, in this first quadrant, x always 0, y0, x always positive, y positive, x negative, y positive, x negative, y negative, x positive, y negative. So those sort of grid used, and in this grid, this is the origin point, reference point. From this reference point on the map, other locations coordinate value it will calculate. Each position has two values that reference it to that central location from this origin point. So if you consider this location's x value is 5, that means from the origin point this location's x displacement is 5. If you consider this location y value is 7, that means from origin point this location's y displacement is 7. Now in GIS we use different types of projection types. So projection types result from projecting a coordinates from a spherical coordinate system onto a flat surface. We will transform the three-dimensional globe onto a flat surface. So three-dimensional globe that will project on a flat surface. This is the light source. When we focus this light source on the globe, it was projected on a flat plane. This surface is used by cartographers as the basis for 2D map. So this projected surface is used by the cartographer as the basis for two-dimensional map. So on the two-dimensional map, for representing every locations, we will use this projected surface. Now cartographers generally use three types of such type of surface. One is called cylindrical surface, one is called conical surface, and the third one is called planar surface. And each projected surface create a different projection type. Cylindrical surface create one types of projection, which is called cylindrical projection. Conical surface create conical projection. Planar surface create planar projection. Ultimately nothing. How we'll project the globe on which type of surface? Cylindrical, conical, or planar flat surface? So first we come with the cylindrical projection. Let's see the figure. If you assume entire globe was placed on a cylindrical shape, and on this globe, or you may just assume on the center of the globe, if you on a if you if you place a light source, suppose a bulb, or if you put on a candle, then the light will coming in all the globe surface, and through this globe surface this light will appear on the cylinder. So exactly the earth longitude latitude imaginary lines will project on the cylindrical shape. Now if you cut this cylindrical shape and place it on a flat map, you will get such type of two-dimensional surface. Okay, so cylindrical projection are created by wrapping cylinder around a globe and projecting light through the globe onto the cylinder surface. So just something like this. Okay, so those are the longitude lines, those are the latitude lines. Longitude and latitude lines are intersect each other at a perpendicular way, at a right angle, as you can see. Distortion in this type of cylindrical surface, distortion increases towards north and towards south pole. Then come conical projection. Same thing, only the surface was changed. In case of instead of cylindrical shape, now we use a conical shape. Light appear, project on the conical plane. If you cut down this conical shape and if you place on a flat plane, you will get such type of things. Now in this case, where this conical shape meet the globe or touch the globe, this particular latitude line is called the standard parallel. The simplest conical projection contacts the globe along a single latitude line. You just see in this figure, the conical shape contact globe at this latitude line. So this latitude line is called standard parallel. Now in the conical projection, distortion increases towards once you increases north and south of the standard parallel. If you consider this is the standard parallel, towards north and towards south the distortion increases on the map. And the final one is there, which is called planar projection, where ultimately on a flat plane the globe surface will projected, and this flat plane either touch on the north or on the south pole. And this planar projection is also called azimuthal projection. Touching point is either north or south pole. In this case we show north pole, but it may be the south pole. Longitude lines, these are the longitude lines, radiate outward from the north pole at their true angle, and those concentric circles are latitude lines. latitude lines appear as a series of concentric circles. Okay, so this is the things, and in case of planar projection, distortion increases towards north and towards south of the standard parallel, north and south of the standard parallel. So those are the three types of projection used. But the final point is that you should remember, every projection type causes distortion in a minimum of two map properties, either shape or area or distance or direction. Shape, area, distance or direction. Out of those four properties, every projection at least minimum distort any two of those four properties: shape, area, distance or direction. So as a cartographer, you may ask, which spatial property do I need to preserve? Suppose as a cartographer you have to preserve a area, so we will choose a particular projection. Or no, I have to preserve a direction, so I have to choose out of those three projections one particular projection. When you preserve direction, definitely it will distort area. When you preserve area, it may be distort distance or direction. So that is, these things you have to carry forward. Something will distort it. Some sort of map properties will definitely distort. Okay, so that's all regarding the projection type, and that's all regarding this particular video about coordinate system, which accurately represent location on the earth surface. And for doing different types of geospatial analysis properly, getting good result, we have to choose appropriate coordinate system for your geographical data. Thank you.